like to talk about weed control out in cornfields and soybean fields and wheat fields, but we get a lot of questions about weed control in other areas. So today we're going to talk about some of those other places where you may see weeds pop up and give you some ideas for control. All right, Brian, if you have weeds in a ditch, for example, a roadside ditch, what are some of the best methods for getting that under control?
Well, the best method, because I don't want to go out and pull those weeds, is I'm going to spray a herbicide. In terms of what herbicide I'm going to use, it depends on what is in the field right next to it. If it is a crop that is tolerant to 2,4-D, that's what I'm going to use, is 2,4-D. If it's a crop that's tolerant to dicamba, I might just use dicamba. So it does depend a lot on what's in the field.
All right, now the other method that we'd hear a lot of talk about is just mowing. Can I just keep mowing the ditch and stay ahead of the weeds?
Absolutely, you can, but the problem is some of these weeds grow really fast. You got to keep in mind that a weed's only goal in life is to reproduce. So if you start cutting every month, let's call it, then a lot of the plants are going to figure out, well, how can I put seeds on and actually go to seed in 3.5 weeks? You just have to keep cutting earlier and earlier, it seems like. So as long as you are able to cut constantly, and as long as we're just talking about annual weeds, that method works great.
In the ditches, Brian, you focus mostly on broadleaf control. In lawns and around the farmyard, though, we do see some grasses that can be a problem in addition to broadleaves.
Yep, but the problem is with most grasses, you're not going to have good control with a herbicide. So let's say it's quackgrass in your lawn. Well, then you're probably just going to have to eliminate the entire lawn, spray a very high rate of Roundup, and get control that way. Broadleaves, much easier. You can use some 2,4-D. We really liked the new Freelex. That's the 2,4-D that basically doesn't drift or volatilize. If you can find some of that, great. Otherwise, there is Vaseline, and what that is Remedy Ultra and that new 2,4-D Freelex. The Remedy Ultra has good activity on brush species, and it doesn't have residual. With the 2,4-D, just like old 2,4-D, it's got a little bit of residual, not a tremendous amount though. So a lot of times what we'll talk about is spraying real early in the spring, spraying late in the fall. If you have regular 2,4-D, so we don't have all that volatility dropping leaves off trees, killing flowers, and all those kind of issues. Otherwise, like I say, if you can find some of the new Freelex, the 2,4-D that doesn't drift, now you're in good shape.
We see a lot of different strategies used for weed control and fence lines. Certainly mowing and using a weed eater or a trimmer underneath the fence line can be done, and it takes a little bit of time, but then you can have some grass growth underneath there, which helps choke out weeds. Otherwise, we do see people that are using Roundup and other things to just kill everything under the fence line so they don't have to trim.
Or Pramitol or Hyvar that basically is a ground sterilant. I don't like those because you can get some leaching out there. You have more erosion. So if it's me, I'm still just basically going to trim under there, but you certainly could use a ground sterilant. The other thing, to come back to what you mentioned earlier, Darren, on the grass control, there certainly are some products out there that can be used to control grass in grass. Just look at the label and your particular use, but there are things like Pastora, Plateau, and Dimension.
Well, weed control is important no matter where it's at, especially if you have things like our Weed of the Week. We'll show you how to stop it coming up next.